Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. This reading is a special edition reading connected with the full moon in Taurus, which is also this time is the lunar eclipse in Taurus. It's happening on November 8th. For me, for Eastern Standard Time, it's gonna be happening between 5 and 7 a.m. on November 8th. For your time zone, please check the timings accordingly. If you're willing to do specific rituals or at least observation, the moon eclipse watching during this time. It's also not going to be visible everywhere, so check that as well if that's going to be accessible to you. So today the energy is very different for me. You can see I've done a different setup today. My moon lamp is back, of course, a reminder about a beautiful full moon that, as always, highlights things that we don't necessarily see during the day, right? I.e., in our conscious reality, day in, day out, things we're actually willing to think about, to consider with our consciousness, right? The moon is bringing to the surface a lot of subconscious information. To me, it's also special because it's in Taurus and I have sun sign in Taurus, so I can already feel even before it happened that it's having a profound impact on me. So yeah, today we're gonna see, I have my Beyond Lemuria deck and we're gonna start with it today. So this is gonna be our oracle message for each of the twins to see what the, what is this eclipse about for twin flame collective specific and to the sub-collectives of feminines and masculines. Then we're gonna see with the tarot decks, we're gonna see what are the learnings for each of the twins during this time and what are the challenges, right? So what is gonna be something that's, as an outcome, is gonna speed you along in your journey, in your path in this lifetime, and what is gonna be challenging, what could potentially be pulling the brakes and not allowing you to move forward easily. At the end, I'm gonna pull a message. Hopefully we'll have time for that. We'll see how the reading goes. I'll pull the message from the angel therapy deck with some final guidance for the twins on what to do during this unusual time. This eclipse, of course, is kind of ending this eclipse season in October-November time, because we just had a solar eclipse 2 weeks ago, and it's also the last eclipse of this year, so it's pretty significant in a lot of ways. It's also just happening basically on the verge of the 1111 portal, which is the ultimate twin flame stargate portal, it's called. So yeah, a lot. Let's see. If you guys could be here with me now, you would also be able to smell this special energy. I've done so much of sage cleansing just before I got onto recording. I actually still have it with me here. My sage did space cleansing big time. Like, I'm still like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes later, I'm inhaling those fumes profusely. Okay, let's see what we have for divine feminines first of all. I've got my guidebook here so I can read the definitions, of course. What is the significance of this eclipse, this lunar eclipse in Taurus for divine feminine collective? What do we need to know about it as divine feminines? Transformation. I know it's simple, but that's why it's beautiful. Number 53. Yeah, this multi-dimensional creature here in a humble pose though, right? So one of the first things I see, and I'm going to read the divination message from the book as I promised, is that this experience will highlight our gifts and our purpose, but it's also supposed to remind us to be humble in serving the world, in bringing light to this world and doing your mission. Feel whatever you need to feel. It may be hard to be present with some parts of yourself. Bring them into a cocoon of gentle self-love and reflection, and insight will come. The shadows can be released, and your heart space will soften. Cry or be angry if this is what you're holding on to, and laugh at the hilarious, ironic, divine perfection of it all. This card beckons you beyond your constructed outer self, where you can delve into the beautiful abyss of your being. Revel in the twilight before the dawn, and let your wings unfurl. I think this is it. So it's about self-nurturing, going within, time alone, being present with your feelings, cocooning before becoming the butterfly, being gentle on yourself, and angelic embrace. Very fitting that we're gonna get the angelic therapy cards at the end. Okay, we'll keep this for divine feminines. Let's see what we have for divine masculines. So you can, if you are still wondering what this means, because transformation and going within is not exactly the same thing, but this is combining those two. This card combines those two concepts in the symbol of a cocoon. When a caterpillar goes into cocoon before becoming a butterfly, and that's the transformation part. The combination of going within or cocooning, right? Listening to yourself and the transformation happening at the same time. What do we have for divine masculines? Okay, that was interesting. Jumped out. Healing. Beautiful. All the chakras are here. Let's see. Let's read the divination message for divine masculines. Extend the margins of your awareness. Revisit the situation in question from a broader perspective or higher vibration with a focus on healing. This will help you decipher what is real, possible ways forward, and whether an issue is really a problem at all. This card can also signify the universal push that inspires you to explore your healing abilities in whatever way that looks to you. So to me, the difference is this is both about transformation, right, which is very fitting for this eclipse event. But for divine feminine, it's more about transforming yourself. For divine masculine, it's more about transforming the situation around, right? Whatever is in focus, it's taking a different perspective or gaining perspective on it, rather, right? It's also about healing yourself and or discovering your healing abilities, right? And it can come in various ways. I'm a healer myself, and I know I've done those discoveries of healing gifts multiple cycles sometimes in very unusual ways, where I would recall a specific experience from the past where certain things I said or done, I mean like specific activities, led to people actually being able to heal. And I never paid attention in the moment that was something significant. That's how much of an intuitive experience it was to me. And I was just happy that it helped someone. But now it's been brought back to my attention because that's showing me how it worked, why it worked, and that it was something special. Okay, let's get into tarot. And the first question is, what is the benefit of this eclipse? What is the teaching for feminine and then for the masculine? What is the purpose? Apologize, need to pick it up. I need to pick it up without burning my hair. For the feminines, it's the Temperance card, the Alchemy. Ooh, wow. That's beautiful. That's also a transformation, right? It's also a connection with the ancestors here in this deck. That's so beautiful and so profound. Because this happens to be also the season, the time, the week when we are connecting with the ancestors. Okay, let's see what we have for the masculine. I might actually read some of this. Nine of Swords. It was kind of on the side, almost in reverse, but yeah, we'll get a clarifier. What are the challenges for Divine Feminine during this eclipse? What's the challenge? Six of Cups. What's the challenge for Divine Masculine? The Moon. Ooh, nice. I like it. Okay, bottom of the deck, Three of Cups. So, celebration is underway, basically. Some sort of celebration, but it's important that it's going to be with people who can really appreciate what you've been through. Whether it's celebrating that you've actually gone through challenges, gone through the tough time, that you've, that those times are behind you, or celebration of some positive achievements, right? Whichever way it is, those people who will be celebrating with you will know, how much it means or how much you had to go through to be able to get to where you got in the end. Okay, let's clarify the Temperance, please. This is the after tarot that I'm using. Six of Swords. Yeah, bringing balance for sure. Please clarify Nine of Swords. The Strengths. Please clarify Six of Cups. Queen of Pentacles. Please clarify. This is the mother energy here. The mother, the inner child. Wow, this is interesting. Please clarify the Moon. Two of Cups. And this is the ultimate love. The union here in this deck. Because this is the after tarot. So this is when they're actually embracing each other in union. Bottom of the deck, Death, transformation. Yes. Whew. Okay, yeah, so I was guided to look up the Temperance in the book for this specific deck because it's pretty profound. It has additional meanings here in the card. So we see the puzzle of two figures who cautiously reach towards one another. On one side, a feminine figure in a cage of a dress. The other, a masculine figure in obscurity, the pieces of his puzzle not finding their places just yet. Neither of them has a head, indicating that they are guided not by their rational minds, but instead by more intuitive forces. A skeletal bird with a heart in his beak perches in the middle of the water behind them, suggesting the heart of the matter is to be found in the center point between the two. Let's see, it's pretty long article, so I'm just gonna get into the divinatory message that it has here. When temperance shows itself in a reading, you might be asked to surrender your position in favor of a wise compromise. Perhaps it is asking you to look at how you relate to others. Are you taking time for yourself as well as making time to be social and connected? If you have been dealing with issues pertaining to your health, it may ask you where you are out of balance. It encourages you to take a good and honest look at your sleep, diet, work, and play habits. Do you see the parallel symbolism with that transformation card? We're just looking at about cocooning and looking within, focusing on yourself, your feelings, emotions, your body. It encourages you to take a good and honest look at your sleep, diet, work, and play habits and nudging small changes wherever possible. So it's not even about the big transformation necessarily. The big transformation happens as a result of small changes. And it may seem insignificant on the surface, i.e. changing something in your diet, but it will work out big time. Renouncing all such harmful aspects of these habits at the get-go might be unreasonable and even unsustainable. So instead, we must strive to find a balance, as true fulfillment and happiness are unlikely without temperance. Yes, and Six of Swords here is basically underlining this concept, right? So what they're saying is that if the change you are considering, let's get back to our kind of daily routines and lifestyles. For example, you're deciding to, I don't know, give up fatty food or junk food, right? So they're not asking you to, or it may be very hard to give it up cold turkey, right? Like stop having it at all, right? But if you're setting up some standards to have moderation with it, i.e., you have junk food, I don't know, maybe once a month instead of twice a week, right? I don't know, maybe I'm just making it up, right? It's already a change. It's a pretty significant change. Even though, like, technically you haven't really given it up, but that's the balance you're finding, that's the compromise you're finding to move gradually towards bigger and better tomorrow. It's that sort of idea. And it can be the same with habits and mindset, of course, right? I don't know, maybe you're learning forgiveness, right? And it's hard for you to forgive people, especially if you know objectively that they've done wrong, that they had an opportunity to do better than they did, right? But you can at least start having more understanding or get an additional perspective on why they did what they did, even if you're not ready to like quickly forgive them right away, right? At least it will come to that with time, right? And that's something, it's like an intermediate result that you are getting, that you've gained during this time, that will be greatly appreciated. Okay, for the masculine, we have Nine of Swords clarified by the Strands, and I'm also gonna read Nine of Swords because I see very interesting concepts here. I don't use this deck very often, so I'm not too familiar with the specific art in all of the cards. So this is about depression and overwhelming difficulties that lead to despair. A kneeling figure in distress close at an open hole in the wall, as if trapped in a nightmare. This card represents deep suffering, loneliness, anxiety, stress, and heartache. There is a sense of hopelessness in this card, which leads to sleepless nights, feeling sorry for yourself, and being sick with worry. It speaks to the pain that is generated by a head full of fearful thoughts, the pains we inflict upon ourselves within our internal dialect and unchecked fears. These thoughts can be utterly overwhelming at times, and when we allow our minds to continue the rumination, it contributes to greater psychological distress down the line. So you see, that has a very deep connection with the card, with the healing card we're just looking at. This card brings to mind an old Italian proverb, La lingua batte dove il dente duole, or the tongue always touches the sore tooth. Perhaps you're ruminating on an injustice experience, a hurtful word from a loved one or friend, maybe even guilt or regret over your own actions or words. This is the card of excessive worry, obsessing over the situation, being overly critical of yourself. The positive side of this card is that it can serve as a wake-up call, snapping you out of the nightmare and into a more awakened, powerful place of being. And that's why we have this Trance card here, right? This is awakening to that power. This is a map on the wall. There is a map on the wall. The character is glowing. Should they choose to see it? Do you want to see the map? Do you wish to pursue the answers and solutions? Do you want to get out of your head and escape the pain? Or do you wish to stay in your suffering? Should you choose to step out of the suffering, begin by examining the behaviors and patterns that have led to this state. See what steps you can take to avoid repeating the pattern in the future. You have more power to direct your life than you realize. If you feel stuck or trapped, perhaps it's time to start thinking creatively. Question your assumptions. or look to garner the resources at your disposal to help you. Beautiful. I love this. So basically, divine masculines see the way out of their distress. They don't want to be worried all the time. I mean, it sounds a little extreme, but actually it happens more in life than we can imagine, especially with the masculines, right? Because they get this extra societal pressure of not just basically providing for themselves. A lot of them have other people that depend on them, that rely on them to be the head of the household, the provider, the breadwinner, all of those things, right? And have some sort of prestigious position and title in the society, right? So whenever that doesn't happen, it doesn't really happen as much as the masculines would expect, this happens a lot. And you can see that a lot of this is inflicted by internal conflict or as a result of internal dialogue. So the masculines actually have an opportunity to step out of that. While you're within that state of suffering, it's very hard to heal, right? You need to step out of it. And that's when the healing is going to be available, when they stop feeling sorry for themselves or blaming themselves or blaming others, but will step into the solution where they can see that there is power, that they actually can approach the same situation more constructively, right? So they don't get stuck in that cycle of suffering and pain, but they can actually transform it into something positive and healing. Okay, so for the challenges, the feminines have Six of Cups clarified by Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, I immediately got the connection to, sorry, I even have a bit of sore throat or dry throat because of all the sage I burned. Wow, that's intense. Mental note to myself, next time get a glass of water if I'm doing it before the reading. Whew. So immediately I got this connection of relationship with the mother and inner child work. So the challenge could be to overcome the pain from childhood connected to this kind of experience. It's almost like it will feel like the history is repeating itself, right? Or there will be an opportunity to do things differently now, to find that balance, right? But it will be challenging because in the past, most likely from the childhood, there will be reminders of how it didn't work, or like almost I'm getting the message there's no point in trying because it's not gonna work anyway. Because as a child, maybe you tried different things, different ways, and it still didn't work out, right? And for the inner child, for a child, it was a complete desperation because, of course, everything is, and our emotions, our experiences are more amplified. It all feels a lot bigger when we are children, right? So that really was holding you back from doing something similar again, from going for it, from finding that solution. So yeah, this is also as an opportunity, it's gonna help you heal that. Not just to be able to do what you have an opportunity to do here, but also to be able to heal some of those inner child wounds from childhood. And of course, in a relationship with your mother, whatever they are. Yeah, there is certain energy of neglect that I'm getting from this. So it could be the pattern where either your mother didn't pay attention to what you were trying to do, like they just kind of dismissed it, ignored it, or they didn't help you with it. Like you were counting on their help, but they didn't help you. Heartbreaking. For masculines, we have the moon clarified by Two of Cups as a challenge. I actually want to read about this card because again, the moon here is very much different from what you usually see in tarot. And it's for a reason that I use this deck, so I want to see this. This is the Dream Keeper's Tarot, by the way. Okay, let's see. When traveling through the dark night of the soul, trust in dreams and intuition rather than the logical mind to be your guide. So it's really, the strength is the weakness at the same time, right? There is an opportunity to step outside of the anxiety and negative self-talk, but the challenge is the negative self-talk, right? Overcoming it. So divine masculines are having to go through the experience that the feminines usually the feminines are more aware of the journey, and they, what we've had done so many times in trying to overcome the pain by, like, when we are in pain, just extremely hard. So now this baton is passed on to the masculines. A beautiful woman walks the path of love and pain through the dark night of the soul. A great portion of her dress and even her skin have disappeared, revealing the intricate skeletal bone structure beneath. She is a liminal being, not fully alive and not fully dissolved. In this raw and exposed state, she is highly receptive, deeply intuitive, and communicating with something far greater than what the conscious mind can conceive. Pisces is the astrological sign that rules the moon card, and its influence here could not be more potent or fitting. This is the realm of dreams, the subconscious feelings and intuition. It is the card of psychic abilities and points to those who not only receive messages, but who also adapt and communicating with the beyond. No longer needing the material assistance of ritual, dogma, or esoteric sciences, the communion between themselves and their creator is uninterrupted. They have a direct line, and they use it. The moon is the mirror of our mystery, presiding over the emotional realm and the realm of creativity. It is reflective, receptive, and is itself a lens that translates the light of the sun into something we can safely gaze at. A fitting metaphor for the artists and poets to whom it has given so much inspiration, who also translate the light of the divine into something more accessible. There is a fine line between inspiration of the divine and utter lunacy, though, which the moon also presides over. There is a tendency towards escapism under the moon spell, which could point to addiction. Either a substance abuse problem or maybe a behavioral addiction. These are the negative effects of the moon card, but within them also lies the key to restoration. Look once more to the image on the card. What was it that left her ruined and in state of decay? Could it have been a lack of love that nearly destroyed her? More specifically, not having a love object, nobody to give her love and affections to. Yet, when Our Lady of Sorrows here found the moon to pour her love into, it mirrored the love back, became the salvation, and brought her back to life. Yeah, and then there is a divinatory message, but yeah, it's pretty standard here. So what I'm getting here, especially with the Two of Cups, as the clarification, is that the masculines, the challenge is that they will feel quite alone during this time. Like, when you have loved ones, you have the support, and this is also a bit of a mirror with what we saw in the challenging part for the feminines. Only there it was like reminiscing about the time in childhood when feminines were expecting support but didn't get it. And with the masculines, it's similar situation but happening right now, where they were expecting support from their loved ones and they don't have it. They aren't feeling it. It's almost like that time that, as the proverb says, a friend in need is a friend indeed, right? And they can see that right now they are in need, so they can tell, who is a real close person. And big breaking news, they are alone. The feminine is kind of at a distance doing her thing and her transformation, right? So they are there energetically, but not in person. which is still, for the masculine, still not something that can easily access. So to them, it's still a pretty, like, you know how it is. If you're at a distance with your twin flame, it's, you know, you have that longing feeling to be with them, right? To know how they are doing, or to have a hug, like in this picture, right? So it's almost like, it's definitely harder than it would be to be away from a friend or family member, right? So that's what they're feeling. They don't have family or friends around them to support them, plus the divine feminine is at a distance, which emphasizes this wallowing, really, of like, yeah, I'm all alone, facing my fears, my anxiety, and a little bit of loony energy. Yeah, that's what I got also from the, something pointed me towards that part of the description that I read. Okay, this is getting very long. I apologize, guys, but yeah, that's what was expected of me here. So the last but not least, I'm gonna pull messages from the Angel Therapy deck. Let's get a message for Divine Feminines first of all. What is the advice from the angels, from the guides? Okay, 2 cards. Past life issue and ear chakras. Wow. Yes, you just heard me reading the definition for the moon card. It's definitely it represents this mediumship with other lives as well as with the ancestors. It's like this veil that connects us to those realms. So you may be feeling extra nudge to explore more about your past life during this time, or to connect to it, to understand certain patterns and situations that you're facing in the current lifetime. The situation has a basis in one of your previous lifetimes. Ask your angels to help you remember, release, learn, and heal from your past experiences. I actually learned some information about my past life just today, just a few hours ago. So this is pretty relevant for myself. I'm getting this message for sure, taking it in. Ear chakras. Notice messages that appear as sounds, music, and words from both external sources and within your mind. These messages are real answers to your prayers. So listen carefully, Divine Feminines. Okay, let's see what we have for the masculines as advice from angels and guides. For divine masculines watching, please give us some advice. Also 2 cards. Vacuum away fear and throat chakra. Wow, beautiful, love it. Call upon archangels Michael and Raphael to lift fear-based energy from you, your surroundings, the situation, and everyone involved. So archangels Michael and Raphael can help you remove those fears. Because yeah, I was just gonna say, so the masculines are really going through it, and like I was saying before, like it's hard to get out of the situation, of the emotional situation while you're in it. So that's when often the best way is to ask someone else to help you. And it's not just about the spiritual path and esoteric world. The same works with the classical psychology, for example, and psychotherapy, right? The therapist is a person who can help you. It's like a crutch that you can rely upon, that you can lean on until you feel powerful, confident, conscious enough to do those things for yourself that the therapist is doing for you. The other card is throat chakra. The angels are helping you lovingly speak your truth. Yes, so the angels are helping you, divine masculine. So call upon their power, but also you can feel protected and loved, even though it looks like you're lonely, you're by yourself dealing with all of this in 3D. Energetically, there are definitely energies that want to support you, that are supporting you, so you're not alone in this. You're not fighting these demons by yourself. Okay, I hope this has been useful for you guys. Hopefully it was supportive and gave you some ideas and more information of what this eclipse is bringing and how to work with the energies. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye, guys.